I moved south for a new life and to ply my trade in a new place. Seeking people in my business of film, television, and music production, I was invited by Andrea Faust Holloway, head of Featherhead Productions, to sit in on a commercial shoot in Fairhope. Entering the town, I couldn't help but be struck by its beauty. Not being familiar with the area, I got lost, but didn't mind. I was enjoying the majestic views, streets lined with oak trees and Spanish moss dancing in the summer breeze in front of stately homes, the view across Mobile Bay, and the boats passing by on shimmering water as the afternoon sun was getting low. When I found my way into town, it was obvious that people cared a great deal about their surroundings. There were flowers everywhere, and the streets were immaculate, with quaint little shops, bookstores, and numerous art galleries. I thought to myself, people back in New England have no idea that towns like this exist in the South. I said to Andrea, we have to make a documentary about this serene town. I would soon find that Andrea and her family have deep roots in Fairhope, and that everyone seemed to know her. The Governor's Conference on 2010, the year of small towns and cities in Alabama, hosted in Fairhope, was coming up, and Andrea suggested we start by covering it. And thus, our journey began.
My name is Donnie Barrett. I'm a local person here. I was born in Fairhope. Fairhope is my home. I tell people I've got bay water flowing in my veins. I'm the director of the Fairhope Museum of History, and I'm real proud to showcase our community because in the 1890s, Fairhope was founded by populists, they call themselves, came to find this model community, a community where they put good principles to practice. And when they did that, they were printing the Fairhope Courier in Iowa and sending it all over the country. That brought a lot of very interesting people to Fairhope. This colony attracted sculptors, artisans, people that were jewelers, people that manufactured musical equipment, musicians. This was quite a community of artisans. And we're real proud to showcase Fairhope and tell the story of the single tax colony.
Since you're talking about Fairhope and its uniqueness in all the world, the best way to understand it is to go back to its beginnings. To go back to its beginnings, you have to understand this was a group of dreamers, utopian folks who wanted to create something completely different based on a fellow named Henry George's economic theories. In 1894, these folks came together and they wrote a constitution and they incorporated the town, didn't even know where it was going to be. Then they sent out a whole group of folks to look at sites from Texas to Louisiana to Tennessee to Alabama. And when they got to Alabama, they found out, we found the place we want to get right here.
I talked the council into hiring a horticulturist, which most people in Fairhope and very few of the council members knew what that was. So when I hired the horticulturist, which is Tim Kantz, who's the mayor now, I told him let's do some jobs first that would be very visible and have an impact on the city.
You'd be surprised. I'll have photographs from different cities, from all over the world. They'll come in and he says, why don't we look at our hanging baskets? Like the hanging baskets you see in downtown Fairhope came from Victoria. You see the trash cans, which we're known for with the flowers in the trash cans. That came from the Grand Floridian at the Disney World. We've always kind of attracted people who were a little bit different. In our case, it's been the creativity of people coming in here with authors that are, you could probably go down to the local coffee shop right down the street at Page and Palette, and I suspect at any given day you look across there and there's probably 4 or 5 different authors of some of the best-selling books in the country. You can go down the street and look at any of the art stores that we have and galleries, and it's just amazing what we have right here in Fairhope. And think of it, we got a $100,000 sculpture being given to the city. That was all donated by private individuals raising money to give back to the community.
I think absolutely people are drawn to a geographic location according to their interest for work. There are more published writers per capita in Fairhope than there are in New York City.
I came to Fairhope upon the invitation of Tim Kant. He came to France and invited me over. He loved Fairhope, and he really wanted it to be an art village. He wanted to bring all the art that he could, but I really wanted to do Alabama art, so I was thrilled. I can hide. It's a small town. I love small towns. I don't like cities. After Paris, it's got a lot of artists here. It's got musicians. It's got writers. And there's an intellectual society. There's USA and the proximity. Fabulous people. So it's like I'm home. You know, it'd be hard to leave Fairhope.
Fairhope started as a creative kind of community, a bohemian kind of community. And those things tend to encourage you to say, well, I want to be a part of this process, and Fairhope has its characters and its people that have been successful at this. And yet, at the same time, it was a good community to raise a kid in.
I think Jim Nix did a tremendous job. The town now is a showpiece. It's almost like Southampton. Some people complain about that, but you're not going to hear me complain about it because I think it's neat to have a nice town like that.
If you can't fall in love with Fairhope, it's just hard to fall in love.
We've seen a lot of artists today, and there are a lot of artists that lives in Fairhope, just like there was in the 1890s. There's artists here now making a living, and we're real proud of that. It's definitely a showcase here in Fairhope. We think that they came here to find that utopian dream, to put those good principles to practice. Did they find utopia in Fairhope? Those of us who live here, we know they did. Utopia does exist here in Fairhope.
In making this documentary with Andrea, I've met many fascinating people and made numerous great new friends. I'm looking forward to many years of watching the sunset over Mobile Bay with my new friends in this Utopian Fairhope.